Now to the latest on the Highland Park parade shooting. Another person has now died from injuries suffered when a gunman opened fire on the 4th of July parade in the Chicago suburb. That makes 7 dead and more than 3 dozen injured. Authorities arrested 22-year-old Robert Cremo in connection with the mass shooting. The Lake County Sheriff's Office held a news conference just moments ago where they said he traveled into Wisconsin.
I don't want to get into how we know he was in Wisconsin, but we know he traveled to the Madison area before turning around and coming back to Illinois.
And that mass shooting happened in Highland Park, which we mentioned is about an hour south of Milwaukee. The Gun Violence Archive reports it was the 309th mass shooting in our country so far this year. The group defines a mass shooting as 4 or more shot or killed, not including the shooter. Now, TMJ4 Simone Woolridge is live in Highland Park for us this afternoon. And Simone, can you describe the scene down there for us? I imagine it's just been an awful 48 hours for the folks there.
Awful indeed, Charles. I can tell you it is eerily quiet here for this to be in the center, in the heart of downtown Highland Park. I can tell you I've seen plenty of people, plenty of residents come up to this crime tape here, literally stand next to the crime tape and just take photos and also videos, just trying to feel whatever their neighbors were possibly feeling here when they were here on July 4th. I also want to push into the scene here to show you what I'm seeing and what the residents are seeing as they come to take pictures. You can see many lawn chairs here. That just gives you some perspective of probably what people had to go through when they just had to get up and run away from that mass shooter. Plenty of garbage here on scene as well. Also, the FBI on scene there. They're very far in the distance there. You may be able to see some police lights down the street here, down this main artery of downtown Highland Park. They have been going around picking up some of those pieces, picking up children's bikes, lawn chairs, garbage, putting them into a truck. That's just part of what we have been seeing today. I've had a chance to speak with a lot of people about their experiences. Of course, a lot of people are connected to people who were here on July 4th. But I kind of just want to take you back a little bit. We want to talk about this shooter and what we have learned. So far today, we have learned that police think the shooter, who is now in custody pending charges, was actually planning this attack for weeks. Authorities say he bought the gun legally in Illinois and fired more than 70 rounds during that attack. Law enforcement also learning the alleged gunman dressed up as a woman to hide tattoos on his face and then to just blend in with that crowd. Take a listen to what they had to say.
During the attack, Cremo was dressed in woman's clothing, and investigators do believe he did this to conceal his facial tattoos and his identity. But we do believe Cremo pre-planned this attack for several weeks. He brought a high-powered rifle to this parade. He accessed the roof of a business via a fire escape ladder and began opening fire on the innocent Independence Day celebration goers.
Yeah, so that's just a tidbit of information we are learning today. Police have not released a timeline of what led up to the shooting, but they did acknowledge that someone tipped the police on where to find the alleged gunman. He was taken into custody after they stopped him at a red light. And one of the people who died yesterday, take a look, was 78-year-old Nicholas Toledo. Relatives described him as a loving man who was creative. He was adventurous. He was funny. Spokespeople from the hospital here said the victims ranged in age from 8 years old to 85 years old, and as many as 5 of the victims were children. A couple of hours ago, we saw the FBI walking through the streets here, as I mentioned, taking photos and cleaning up items like chairs, those children's bikes, and even the American flags. Those were all the things that were left behind. They put everything into a large truck, and we've also seen, as I mentioned, people just come here and take a look at the scene for themselves. There are plenty of people still here right now that you are not able to see. But I spoke with quite a few people who did not want to be on camera, but they told me that they wanted to witness this aftermath and just think about what some of their friends, some of their colleagues, and even family members felt when they were here. One woman in particular says she didn't know what to expect when she got here today, but knew she had to come. Before I approached her, I saw her wiping her tears while looking at the crime scene. And then I asked her if she needed a hug, and when she said she did, we had a conversation. Take a listen. Okay, so apparently I believe we do not have that sound bite, but as I mentioned, she did come. She was actually standing right here. She was wiping her tears, so I went up to her and asked her if she needed a hug. We had that conversation. She said that she had been reading all of what happened. Her neighbors are actually from Ukraine. She said her neighbors are dealing with a lot right now, but she was actually supposed to come here to the parade with her neighbors that morning, but she just happened to oversleep with her children. And then her neighbors knocked on her door frantically, telling her what happened and what they had to witness as they were running from that gunfire. You will hear much more of her story, what her neighbors had to go through in the next half hour. I'll share that experience with all of you guys as well.
Yeah, the grief is overwhelming. All right, we appreciate your help. We will check back with you shortly. And we're going to bring you new information on air and online. You can do that anytime you want by going to our website.